All right, so bigger than $2.2 trillion. I wonder what Chuck Grassley thinks of that. The Iowa Senator, Senate Finance Committee Chairman, many, many others, joins us right now. Senator, always good to have you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about what the president just talked about. He'd be willing to go higher than $2.2 trillion. That might work and get people motivated in the House. But Senator Mitch McConnell's already made it clear that's going nowhere fast in the Senate, is it?
Yeah, because Senator McConnell's tired of negotiation and ups and downs between Pelosi and the White House. So we've decided to move ahead on what we agree on. There's several things in whatever the White House and Pelosi's talking about. There's a lot of things that are already agreed to and that have bipartisan agreement. So that's what we're doing in the United States Senate today and tomorrow, trying to get something rolling one of two ways. Either have Democrats in the Senate, if they don't like what we're putting down, let us get to the bill. That'll take at least seven Democrat votes to get us to the bill. And if we get on the bill, they can change it any way they want to. Or if they don't want to do it that way, we can pass what we have and get it to the House of Representatives, and then they can go to conference and we can work out the differences. But we can't wait for the White House and Pelosi to agree to something. We got to move because we got to get all this done by next Wednesday if we're going to get it done before the election. Otherwise, it carries over to the lame duck session.
The president acknowledged, Senator, that he knows the Republican senators who disagree on the cost of this, but you'll all come along. You'll do what he says, will you?
Well, I would only draw that conclusion after I know what's in it. And I said so much in it that we agree on, why not move ahead with that? What might cause some of us some heartache is how much money is going to go to state and local governments as aid, how much non-COVID-19 stuff's in it, like does Pelosi want to change our state election laws between now and the election and things like that. Those are things that are going to be as deciding as the amount of money that's in it.
You know, Senator, a lot of your Republican colleagues are willing to, as you just kind of intimated there, challenge the president or take him on this because it's important to you, and I get that. But you're not, of course, up for election this year. Your colleague, Joni Ernst, is. But a lot of them are getting concerned that the president risks dragging them down. Now, that could change, and the polls could change, and some of them are tightening up. But is there a concern that between his, ripping Dr. Fauci and some of these other, tirades he goes on, that he is hurting their cause, that he is hurting Republicans' chances of holding on to the Senate?
That would only be if he was going to lose. And I think the way things are going this election, like it did 4 years ago, he's going to win, and he's going to take Republicans with him. Does that mean every Republican is going to win? No, we vary from state to state, but we're still going to control the United States Senate 2 weeks from today.
One of the things he said, it would be a lot easier if senators just went along with him, supported him in everything he's urging, and that they'll do well. They'll do well in the polls and the elections for doing that. What do you say?
Well, every president would say that, and all I can say is we have divided government we have checks and balances of government under our Constitution, and we have to act as senators. We can't act as just ambassadors for whatever the president wants done.
All right, let me switch gears. As you know, the Justice Department is filing this antitrust suit against Google. This comes at the same time a lot of your colleagues, Senator, want to hear from the CEOs of Twitter and Facebook over, all but hiding that, New York Post story on these Biden emails. There's a lot of discrepancies on all of that. But is this building to be a bipartisan bashing of big tech, do you think?
It ought to be, because they're monopolies, and they're acting like monopolies. Facebook, Twitter ought to be ashamed of what they're doing for censoring. That isn't the issue with Google. That's antitrust. But the First Amendment is in jeopardy here because so many people, particularly younger people, depend upon Twitter and Facebook to get their information. And when the Post puts out this story about Hunter Biden, and Twitter and Facebook won't take it, just think of the number of people in the United States, millions and millions of people that are denying their source of news. And shouldn't this be as newsworthy as it being printed in the New York Post?
So I know you had argued if this was a story on Donald Trump that made the same allegations, that they wouldn't have had a problem with. They say if it's sketchy info, it shouldn't be passed along or be retweeted or resent. What do you think of that?
Well, it's a bunch of malarkey because they have a double standard. When the Steele dossier was out, paid for by the Democrat Party and by Hillary Clinton, we didn't know that until maybe a few months ago, but we know it now. They were super spreaders of that disinformation. So now some people are saying this could be same disinformation. Well, it's proven that it's not by three sources. Number one, the Grassley Johnson report that we put out. Number two, there's a person in prison that gave emails to journalists that prove some of the things that are in the laptop of Hunter Biden are true. And first of all, they've been asked questions about this. They don't answer them. Vice President Biden should be obligated to answer these questions. And the other thing is they haven't denied them. So it seems to me that speaks of everything. But let's just get back to what Congressman Schiff said, that this is Russian disinformation. The director of national intelligence yesterday said that no intelligence shows that this is anything dealing with Russia. Besides, now we have signatures of Hunter Biden when he laid this laptop down for repair that he didn't pick up. And so what's the big deal? Facebook and Twitter need to get with it and stop censoring the press, because so many millions of people, particularly younger people that don't read the newspapers, depend upon that for news, and they ought to be able to get honest news, and they aren't getting it. And they're doing it just to protect Biden because they want him to be the next president of the United States. They hate Trump.
So why your colleagues go ahead and subpoena, as they seem to plan, the Twitter CEO and the Facebook CEO? They've held off on that. What's the deal?
Okay. Well, I think that'll come up tomorrow or Thursday when we have our meeting. I don't know for sure, but we want them to voluntarily come. And if they don't come to judiciary and we subpoena them and get them, in the meantime, they already have a hearing. They're going to be scheduled before the Senate Commerce Committee. So they're going to appear one way or the other, but they want to appear after the election. They don't want these questions about how they're interfering with the information that every American ought to have about Biden and Hunter Biden and the influence peddling that went on there for either the benefit of foreign leaders or for the income of the Biden family.
Senator, real quickly, what do you think the president's going to do if his mic is cut in the debate on Thursday? They're promising to do that if either guy goes over the other guy, interrupts him, or goes on and on. What do you think the president would do?
First of all, I don't think he's going to worry about it much because he had his mic cut off when he was debating Hillary Clinton and he still won. And they might cut it off this time. All he's got to do is, when he gets the next question answered and he's got something that he wanted to say about Biden and it got cut off, say it again the next time he's got the forum.
Would you tell him to shout really loud?
Well, I'm sure he'll do that anyway.
Okay, just wanted to make sure there's a procedure on this. Senator Grassley, always good seeing you. Thank you, sir. Be well.
Good. See you.